What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, back here with some more live commentary, and we've got a few pretty powerful heroes here to kick things off, and a few different directions that we could go in. I'm not going to go for Jack's Giant again, though that was a fun way to kick the season off. I think that I would pick Wonder Waddle if I wanted to high roll, but these two heroes, I think, last time I checked hero-based data, were the top heroes for average placement. So I'm going to go for Peter Pants, which is a hero that I haven't really played in a while or showcased on the channel. Haven't really had a reason to do so, but it has often been my favorite hero for climbing and tournament play because of how consistent it is. And maybe I'm misremembering. I think this is new. I don't think you're supposed to get level 3 characters on your first turn as Peter Pants. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. But I'm going to lock on to Lucky. Lucky is one of the highest heroes on my Peter Pants, or highest characters rather, on my Peter Pants tier list. Especially to be able to pick up so early to give yourself some additional econ. Oh, and now speaking of econ, I have an additional gold because we just played up against Bear. It's very tempting to wake up a sleeping princess, but I don't think it's worth it, nor do I think it's worth locking onto. So I'm just going to pick up Lucky and roll and not worry about Turkish Delight, obviously. Could go for Wicked Witch. I think that next turn's kind of an interesting turn, though, with Peter Pants, because 4 gold winds up being one of the more interesting decision points. Do you pick up two 2-cost cards, or do you pick up one 3-cost card? And Lucky is going to complicate that even a little bit further and just let us get away with a little bit more. We get away with a tie here, and that is pretty good. And now we can do something like, well, actually, Good Witch is a level 3 character, so we probably just pick up the 2 level 3 characters here. Let's grab these and then Candy Cannon to give ourselves just a little bit more stats. But yeah, I think that Peter Pants is good. So if you saw my rating at the beginning of this, it was 3477, right? Which is conveniently just a little bit more than 25 times 21. There's 22 days left in the season right now, playing this on the 9th right before it goes live here. And that means that if I just get 21 4th place finishes, I would be Mythic, which I think is a great way to kind of pace yourself and view the season as a whole. That's also after a setback. I got a 6th place finish yesterday. Maybe I'll show off part of that. Just got a little bit greedy, a little bit distracted, was having a bunch of camera issues. I'm trying not to jinx it, but hopefully I don't get too many or any at all camera issues today. That would be wonderful, wunderbar here. So hoping that those do not plague us. I'm just going to pick up some more level 3 characters, and then I don't really see a need to Falling Stars, but I don't see a need to not. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. Let's fire this off, and then I'll roll. And I do have to figure out how we are configuring this board a little bit, because right now the stag is only pumping up one thing, and it's in attacking position 2, whereas we could do this, right? But I have to think if this is really what I want to do, and I think I will. I think it's just enough stronger that I go for it. Though it's awkward, pumping up Lucky means that we are now less likely to get the activation from him, and Lucky, when you've got a pair of Witch supports, does start to get a little bit more awkward on the board, but maybe Lucky can still find its way into the combat against Labyrinth Minotaur. Nice, which is enough to get us the win, deal some nice damage to Horde Dragon, and still get this Lucky activation here. So now we can use the stag to pump up the pig. That's pretty good. What else are we looking for here? Well, we just take the golden chicken, I suppose, and then I suppose I'll grab a Wicked Witch here as well. Could sell off the Bad Billy to pick up the Witch. which is certainly not as many stats as just playing the witch. But I think I want to play the pig. Oopsie. So let's just sell off our only 2-cost character other than Golden Chicken and add that witch to the board. I think that we are still doing pretty nicely. And are we streaking? 2 streak. Okay. So we're not fully streaking here, but a 2 streak is still nice and part of the definite strength of Peter Pants. I think that it's one of the best heroes in the game for just getting those consistent 4th place finishes. And normally, actually, I would say Peter Pants is really good at getting 2nd place, more so than any other hero. And if somebody else in the lobby pops off, then sometimes you droop a little bit. But here's what I'll say. In the new era of Storybook Brawl, where the game's just that much faster, I think that that's nice. We get to keep our prize pig and take their prize pig out. That feels really, really good. So in the new era, I think that Peter Pants might even be poised to do a little bit more than just get a bunch of 2nd place finishes. I like the mummy. I want to pick up this free character here as well. Probably should have just rolled the die to grab one of these things on the cheap, but this is fine for now. Let's roll, and one more roll, sell off Golden Chicken to triple something. Okay, not quite, but I think that I probably still sell off Golden Chicken here to pick up Mummy, and then I do have to decide if it's worth it to pop the pig back in, because we're so strong that I think we could potentially get away with it. This is where Lucky starts to look a little bit awkward, but I think that we are strong enough. This is currently 3.2, so we are going to see a little bit more strength from our opponents, especially, well, I guess Fates is the only person, Fates and Chairbear are the only people that have made triples, so that makes sense. I'm going to see if I recognize any of these names. I don't immediately recognize any names, but apologies if you're watching and in the lobby. Shout outs to you if you are, but I think that we can justify playing the pig. I don't think that the Wicked Witch supporting 1 mummy makes us stronger enough that it is worth not at least attempting to get this prize pig gold. We just have to take out this donkey here, and actually our whole front line is big enough to do so, and our whole back line, and we walk away with the bonus prize pig gold. So I think that we are in a pretty good space here as we move on to our next 3.0. And now we could potentially go more in the direction of evil. Don't love any of these treasures. I think I'm willing to just skip here, and then, like I said, go in the direction of evil, because at some point while playing Peter Pants to stay strong, I like going for Queen of Hearts based strategies, and I think that's where I'll find myself now. I don't really want to play Good Witch, also kind of don't want to play Princess White at this point. Maybe Princess White becomes better though if we find another Lucky. So it's potentially still worth considering. The main reason to hang on to the Good Witch is because if we find Shard of the Ice Queen, it would give us additional incentive to do that. So now I think I'm just going to wind up selling off, and we could play this because it's evil. So I think I sell something. We'll put the Lucky back in maybe. I'm debating how this board is going to go before actually selling anything off for it. Let's do this. Let's grab this. Running a little bit low on time. Sure, I'll grab that, lock the shop. Actually, that was kind of a mistake, because we're going to grab a tier 5 treasure here, which isn't really exciting at all, and kind of is a waste of the treasure map. But I don't know. We've already locked onto it at this point. I think it's probably still right to just grab the triple rather than not. Though typically you'd like to use treasure map with like Cindy or something maybe. So maybe I could pivot a little bit still, but then am I not buying any stags or queens that I find? That's tricky. All right, let's not Though, yeah, I think I am still going to want to pick up Lucky's in case we find ourselves in that direction. What I really want here is Genie's Wish to try to activate Cindy or Blind Mice. I might take this just because it's free. Might also sell into a Spellweaver. I've only picked up one dwarf here. I think we can just get rid of that. Get rid of this. And then let's just Candy Cannon to finish off the turn. It does tick down onto Cindy. Next turn, I'd like to find Genie's Wish or /and any cantrip spells to potentially give us a tier 4 treasure. There's just not much that a tier 5 treasure can do on Peter Pants other than make you temporarily strong. And we did take some damage on that fight. We played up against the Fates, and now we're playing up against Sharebear, the two characters that I said might be scary in this lobby. But I think it's still worth trying to put as much of our econ as possible into getting that crystal ball and that hat as much as we can here. Okay, that's a great attack from Medusa. I don't care about any of these. Oh, I care more about everything else is what I mean to say. And that's going to get Medusa-fied as well. But then if we can attack here, nice. Then we get the tie. So I like that. They're actually playing with Dark Contract too, so they're not as strong as they might initially appear. We've really got to make some decisions if we want to go for these other things here. I'm seeing a pair of mummies. Let's try to roll here for a second. All right, that's exactly what I was looking for. A cantrip into another cantrip. Excuse me. I do see a blind mouse here as well, but at this point we're just activating Cindy this turn. As we see even more blind mice, but I'm going to go ahead and activate Cindy right now. Tier 4 treasures are all that we need. Let's grab this. Tier 4 treasure is going to be Forking Rod, and now we can feel free to move about the cabin. I'll pick up this golden chicken, and now I do like another mummy potentially. Let's grab this. I don't really care about the water wraith too much, and then we could sell off 2 things to triple the white stag. It's probably worth doing. Yeah, let's just do this here. And I might even put the stag back in. It's a decent amount of stats. We can throw a helm on it, which is mediocre, but maybe worth doing. I'm not sure. Probably just do it like this. That's fine. The stag, if I'm playing it to only pump one thing, feels like a little bit of a waste. Really good attack there for us from Lancelot, though we are going to lose the stag attack from the bonus attacks from Court Wizard here. We actually are able to tie the combat, so I feel pretty good about that for sure. And now let's see if we can find Queen of Hearts, exactly what we wanted here. Still not doing great on finding the crystal ball. I'll pick up Power Orb. I know there's probably some discussion like it's worth picking up the treasures just because then you are more likely you're reducing the treasure pool, right? But the other treasures like really were not giving me anything, so I didn't really care too much about passing those up. And that might have been a mistake. I probably should have double kidnapped there. I think that probably would have been good with the Forking Rod, but I'll just end the turn on a golden chicken, I think. So I do like picking up some medium treasures here if they have anything to offer. Otherwise, the 2 gold that you get from skipping treasures, I think, is also giving you something. It's giving you that 2 more gold, which it can help you find some other treasures. This Pied Piper is low on health, and this is currently natural 5.0, I believe. Yes, based off the bots here, we can see that Phoenix Angel and Sharebear are a little bit past that, as would be expected, but 5.0, how does this board feel for 5.0 and upgraded Queen of Hearts? Not terrible, not terrible. The mummies still doing just okay work. We will have to battle through this Hippocampus, but I think this backline Queen of Hearts is going to be bigger than that. we shall see. And we've got a prized pig on my opponent's side of the board. How will that fare? That'll give us some nice bonus gold here. And I think this is enough to grab the win. Wow, just barely enough to grab a tie here. Okay, Forking Rod Masquerade Ball there for the Pied Piper. I don't love Wicked Witch, especially as our backline is already full. So I think I'm going to roll off of that. All right, I'll grab another golden chicken. There are good tier 2 treasures on pants now. I'm going to roll past the good witches. Maybe do want vampires. There's even more good witches. All right, and then I'll grab the golden chicken, potentially replacing the haunted helm here with... I don't know about replacing it with Shepherd's Sling. I mean, it is an upgrade. It's plus 10 stats versus 14 worth of stats. So it's definitely an upgrade, but I think that we skip on this one and keep on rolling. Maybe it's wrong of me to have not just picked up like Water Wraith, something that would have just been like mediocre for me. Because I'm not buying anything. Like, I'm just not excited about enough, so I haven't bought anything this turn. Let's cycle this and buy this. That's a pair, and then I'll buy everything else in the shop. I'll have to sell off the stag. And hopefully we can just hang on for a little bit longer. We're still sitting pretty at 33 health. That's part of the strength of Peter Pants, is that we stay stronger than the rest of the lobby for a decent amount of time, but is it going to be long enough to allow us to complete some triples here? So now, like I said, I think we've got to sell this off so that way we can make room for everything else. And then we find 2 more things that I do not yet have. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. We've got this mummy. So in order to triple this mummy, I guess I'd sell off... I either lock and lose 3 gold, or I just sell off Wicked Witch and sell off both of these luckies here. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's grab some mummies, and then I think Sting is fine. It's definitely better than the Helm on our ranged character, and then I'll finish off with a doubled up Falling Stars, which isn't super impressive, but I think compared with everything else, I think this was a reasonable power spike this turn. Our ranged character in the front is now pretty large. We still have 2 different pairs that we're building towards. It was awkward that I had to sell out of one of them, but that's what happens when you get this far in the game and then like you need to hold on to your upgraded characters while also wanting to still pursue other pairs. So this might not be a great look for Peter Pants this game, but it will be interesting if just based off tempo alone. This is currently 5.2. We're gonna probably get to 6.0, and then typically by 6.0, half the lobby's dead. So we'll see how far this actually gets us here. My opponent with a good boy. Is that going to be enough? They've got double Hippocampus in the back line. Maybe Summons is the best that it's ever been, with the fact that the game is so tempo-oriented right now. We're definitely taking some damage, and we were unable to clear any of the Hippocampuses, but we just barely dropped below 20 this turn. It doesn't feel like that terrible of a place to be. Do I want to grab Wicked Witch? I don't think so. Cool. I was going to say we risk getting into a scenario like before where we are just low on things. So I'm going to grab Crystal Ball and toss Sting here. Just play that for now. I don't think I'm going to grab Wizard's Familiar, but I might start casting some spells. The thing here now is like, is there any universe where I just try to like mix-a-wizzle this into an Aeon rather than trying to find the hat? And I don't think that's the way to go. I can actually pick up Wicked Witch again now that we have tripled up on the Queen of Hearts. And then maybe I'll just finish off with the Genie's Wish. All right. Gingerbread, basically double Gingerbread Party there with Gingerbread Party plus Wish Upon a Star. Not super impressed by that, but hopefully pumping up the mummies helps us. If we can just find this Water Wraith, find the Merlin's Hat, then we definitely have a shot to still take this lobby over. My opponent playing full scam doesn't seem great for me, as they've got some pretty large units, but if this attacks here, okay, then we can go here or here, yeah, and only take 9. So small victories here to only take 9. I do like Shard of the Ice Queen. If I had already had some good characters, but I don't know if it's just worth buying just for a random evil character. There are 3 hits though, let's go for it. And that's going to give us a Creeper and then a Spellweaver. Okay, so that's really good, actually. Now we could potentially play something like this. Have to decide if I just want to go for stats this turn as well, because we are so close to dying. And I might just try to throw a little bit of stats onto the board. But maybe I'll stop there. Okay, and then I find some mages, so this could be a really big come up here. If we can find the hat, we toss this. I'm not going to go for the sarcophagus. Unfortunately, I'm just going to see how many spells I can cast. Okay, went back into Wicked Witch. Nice. I don't really need another Wicked Witch, so I'm not going to waste 3 gold picking her up. I don't hate the mummy, but I think I'd rather just do this. This is a ton of econ, allows us to buy up the full shop and then have a bunch of gold ready for next turn. Okay, let's do that. Alright, I potentially should have bought the pair. I don't think it really matters. Oh, and I should have thrown the mummy in over the Water Wraith. Let's see if it's going to matter at all. My opponent with Ivory Owl plus double Court Wizard is a ton of stats. So, yeah, not really going to matter. We're going to die here. Are we? No, we probably grab a 5th place off of this one, unfortunately. So, a loss of 20, but I'm going to hop into another one here even and see if we can't turn this around. It wasn't a terrible game, and if we can get our first win of the day bonus and like a good finish, then I think that we'll be in a really good spot. And I think that that's part of the game too, is that when you lose, trying to not lose by that much. And then when you win, well, you don't have to win by that much, but winning is obviously always good. So I'm going to go for Goldilocks in this one, pick up a Cindy off the rip. Don't see any problems with that. Cindy versus Golden Chicken would have been interesting. Maybe I would have locked just because Golden Chicken is so good on Goldilocks, but you always got to lock the gold on Goldilocks, right? But I'll pick up a Cindy here, and I think that that is a pretty nice omen for the game. I think that maybe we got a little bit unlucky on Peter Pants, but ultimately, you know, that's going to happen sometimes, and we still didn't do all that terribly, all things considered. So, no spells here for Goldilocks, no characters that I really care about. I'm going to roll for Golden Chicken specifically. We do find it, and then we also find Forbidden Fruit, which I'm trying to think of the best way to make use of, and honestly, the best way to make use of the Forbidden Fruit is probably just to roll right now. Awkward that we caught it after the roll, whereas if we found it before the roll, then we could have done a little bit more with it. And I don't think that Shard of the Ice Queen just by itself is worth locking onto. Ironically, I mean, we did roll away that Baby Root. Part of the reason that I rolled the Baby Root away immediately is because that allows me to potentially cast another spell here on 2.2, specifically a Shrink Drink or a Free Roll. So I think that that was like worth pursuing. If we had found something better to lock onto, it would have seemed really smart. But this is still fine. And a reasonable start to the game. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to cast the spells for Cindy. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The Baby Root was one of the, in terms of just like increasing our power on the board, Baby Root's one of the better characters that you can buy for the early game. And it transitions somewhat well with Goldilocks, like makes Trojan Donkey, makes Stag better, Prized Pig, just because it's a lot of power. It's good with that as well. So there's some definite synergies in all of that as well. And we do lose this combat, but we have a lot of chance to find royals here for Lonely Prince as well. So I think that that's good. Oof. Okay, this is, I think, kind of terrible. So the other thing you might have noticed is I sold off the golden chicken. I've brought up this before, but if you can shrink drink, then like these were effectively just the golden chicken. So just viewing them as a golden chicken here and being willing to sell them off, I think is totally fine. And I think that that is what I'm going to go for. I'm just going to sell these two things off. I would have liked to potentially hang on to the royal, but I don't want to continue taking damage. I'm already down to 27. This turn, we're prioritizing some econ a little bit in the form of picking up Lucky. I do see there's a Darkwood Creeper that we could double support plus give some growth to, but it's just generally not where I want to be. And now it looks like we're in an evil era here where we will potentially try to make something funky happen with Wicked Witch on the next turn. Not going to be enough to allow us to survive this combat. My opponent gets a For Glory off on us, but I think that we can find some good things here now. Here's the Prized Pigs. And some XP. This is awkward. It certainly seems like I'm supposed to pick up a pair of prized pigs here. At the same time, it seems like there's no way that these prized pigs could ever possibly survive. I still think that I do it. Because if one survives, it makes it so much easier to buy this Wish Upon a Star. Wish Upon a Star next turn, actually a little bit awkward regardless because we're Goldilocks. Maybe we just take the Wish Upon a Star, intentionally losing, sell Blind Mouse, pick this up for a little bit more power on the board, and say have at it. Not going to lock here. We're just going to be 4.0 next turn. With 9 gold, we'll be able to pick up 2 evil characters, or two characters of any capacity on 4.0, and maybe we'll just hope that that could somehow be enough. It's not going to be. We're going to take some damage here, and we're going to take some more damage next turn, but we do have this Goldilocks shop, and the big consideration was really just not wanting to have the Goldilocks shop happen on a turn where we also bought XP. Now, having said that, this is kind of a terrible shop. Lady of the Lake is fine. I'm somewhat considering here Ride of the Valkyrie just to activate Cinderella. If I was going to... No, this order's fine. Oh, you know what? Maybe I take the Fanny here. Sorry, I missed that. But Fanny's probably pretty good, huh? Okay, we're turning this around a little bit. We're moving out of these and into dwarves by the looks of it. I'm tempted to just roll here, but I feel like Ride of the Valkyrie to activate Cindy is just like one of the better uses of my gold that I'm actually going to be able to get out of this turn regardless. So let's just do that. I think I take Locked Chest, which will activate, could give us Treasure Map or Crystal Ball on 5.0. And then let's just try to be as strong as we possibly can. I think I like Monster Book for strength. Otherwise, trying to pick up as many dwarves or tier 4 characters or anything like that. But Monster Book could be a come up. Let's see if these dwarves are enough to turn anything around here. Against a happy little tree, I don't think that they possibly could be. Though Lady of the Lake is going to be strong. I was going to say if everything attacked into Fanny there, maybe we had a shot, but oh well. Okay, another level 3 treasure. I'll take that, and we got the discount, the lucky discount onto Monster Book. Eye of Ares is not bad, just in terms of hoping to tie a few combats and survive because of that. Okay, Tiny, a tier 2 treasure. Kind of weird. I think I might like picking up a ranged character. It also kind of goes along okay with Monster Book, despite Monster Book seeming a little bit weird here overall. You know what, let's just do this. If I'm only going to play one Tiny, I can skip the treasure, or I can grab something that is somewhat synergistic with Goldilocks. I'm not sure if any of these things are synergistic with Goldilocks. I mean, Big Book of Spells to find XP is good, I suppose. Now I'm not playing this, but I'll just play this. Let's move some things back around so that way my Lady of the Lake is in first position. And yeah, I want to double support both of my dwarves. I'm not going to lock onto Spellweaver here either, despite the fact that it does work well with the Big Book of Spells, and Aeon is like a definite build path. Oh, I didn't double support. Oh, right. Okay, Lady of the Lake has to be in the center. Kind of confusing, but fair enough. Fair enough. We take 5 damage down to 2. I did not realize how close I was to being dead this game. Wow, okay. Another cheap Monster Book is good. We're definitely going to grab the Gingerbread Knight, and then next turn is 5.0. That's a big come up. We just need to survive for a turn. Can we do it? Is the Lady of the Lake good just because it's another ranged character? I feel like probably yes. Alright, let's grab this. Could also sell 2 things to put even more stats onto Lady of the Lake. I don't hate it. Don't hate hanging on to dwarves here though as well, just because they potentially help get you out of some sticky situations. I mean, we do need to not die. So I guess I'll Burning Palm this Lady of the Lake and hope that that can help keep me alive. Maybe I double support the Gingerbread Knight just because this Tiny is probably not surviving with only 10 health in an Eye of Ares board. Lady of the Lake kind of just awkward in an Eye of Ares board too, come to think of it. But at least they're ranged characters, so maybe that's something. And Gingerbread Knight is able to survive with double Lady of the Lake, so calculated. There we go. Okay. Monster Book also somehow able to survive with all the background supports, and we just barely grabbed the win there. Now we are level 5, and we do see treasure map plus a bunch of pairs. Wow, these are all technically pairs. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, it's certainly treasure map here. We have to try to make it work. Cupid, I think, is really good. I also think both of the sirens are really good. So in order to pick up everything, if I sell 3 things, then I can easily make this board work. So that's going to be this. Let's just put this here for a second. I'm going to do this. I think I want to buy both Cupids. I think I also want to buy both sirens. I just can't do so right this second. So let's sell 3 things. Wanted to see which monster book was bigger. And I'm going to sell out of Lady of the Lake. But I am locking onto this here. Maybe should have used Shard of the Ice Queen on something, just to see what we could have potentially gotten from that. and I'll still hang on to Lady of the Lake here. I'm really just banking on these Cupids to carry me, and then we'll see how far we can get. Next turn, I'm going to buy out the rest of the characters in the shop, try to grab a tier 7 treasure, and hopefully that's not too little too late. I think this is a big power spike. Is it big enough? That's the only question. Cupid gets to just take out a backline character. Siren is going to get a sleigh here, so that's really good to get bonus characters when you are playing with the, what is this called? Iavaries. We also deny some bonus XP there, which makes me feel good. Let's pick up another Siren. Pick up a 9C Terror, and then roll. Okay. Gingerbread Knight is slightly bigger than Siren, so I'm still going to rock with it here. Or slightly bigger than 9C Terror, so I'm still going to rock with it. I think this is basically all we can do this turn. I think that this was fine. Giving these bonus stats to the Sirens, I think, is also good. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. The lobby is so low in health right now that we really just need to win a few more times. But it's this combat. This combat this turn is the make or break one. Because if we win or tie, I'll take a tie on this combat. You can see we were 98% to win on the previous combat. That was against, who was that against? Gwen? Oh yes, I'm Goldilocks. Yeah, it was against Gwen. So we were 98% to win that one. Now they are also on the bottom of the lobby with us, but 98% is a big percent. And we just need to survive one more, and then we could potentially be getting a tier 7 treasure here, which has some really huge implications, especially as Goldilocks. World Tree might even be too slow, but there's a lot of potential still to make this game work. Are we going to see it out? That's the question. My opponent attacks into themselves. Siren gets to steal a Nutcracker, which is okay, good, because I didn't want that to activate. That would have been awkward. Then Siren steals a ranged character. A lot of potential to mess with our treasure map here, which was really silly. But now, here is our tier 7 treasure. It is World Tree or it's Holy Grail, y'all. World Tree or Holy Grail. World Tree or Excalibur. Man, this is tough. This is really freaking tough. Holy Grail's a win. World Tree, probably a win. Excalibur, also probably a win. So I want to think about what makes me the strongest this turn, and it's awkwardly potentially like Excalibur by Wombats in Disguise and throw that in on the board here. Excalibur plus Goldilocks might just be enough. Look how close this lobby is to ending. I mean, this Fates is streaking like a streaker here, so that is scary. Oh, let me know in the comments down below, which tier 7 treasure would you pick? I guess World Tree is actually kind of what I was thinking of with the Wombats in Disguise. Alright, I'm going to go World Tree. I'm going to go World Tree, and then there's no way I ever lock here. Let's just do this. That's kind of cute to give us even more stats on the Wombats, and hopefully, I keep saying hopefully, but now we have the potential to have a really big Goldilocks turn even without the Holy Grail. And I think this can carry us here. I think this is going to be enough. Upgraded Siren just has to hit. All right, it fails to hit. The Mummy is going to summon a huge Soul Tack, and that's pretty good. Yeah, all of this stuff is still good enough, and we're going to get the win onto Celestial Tiger. So, 6.0 now as a Goldilocks, and we get to add a decent amount more power to the board, but surprisingly, it doesn't actually go crazy here. Could do something like this. We're certainly pumpkining, right? That's the only thing that I know that we're doing. The only question is, like, which of these characters do I want to shard? Do I just want to shard something in the shop? I'm interested in the Hercules. I'm interested in the pumpkin, and then I've got to sell 2 more things, probably both of these. And I could either pick up the Green Knight, or I could just pick up, like, the Jormungand and shard it. Oh. Excuse me. I think I just pick up Jormungand and shard it. That seems crazy. But let's see what this gives me here. Gumblegore, that's an upgrade, or Boomhilda, rather. That is a definite upgrade. Let's not worry about Hercules. I know supporting it. Now, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Because then we get a level 5 character here. It could be another Siren. I think that this is right. Let's see if we are strong enough up against the Fates. Robin Wood is going to double try to take this down. Though double Cupid, I think, is still going to be good enough here. Let's see. Hercules only gets partially through activating here. But like I said, I think this is still good enough with this pumpkin spawn. Looks like it will be. And we're going to deal some considerable damage to the lobby leader. That does not feel too terrible. We even get some additional damage there. We hit the lobby leader for 12 down to 6. And this might have been turned around here. So Burning Beard, I think, is not generally where you want to be with World Tree. I think the main things I'm looking for are Court Wizard, Lordy. Oh, wait, we can Bear Stain Great Pumpkin. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. So let's do it. We do have to organize the back line in a somewhat silly way here. But I think that's a lot of fun. We could also grab the Wombats. It's not terrible. Or we could just Fog. We could just Fog just to give ourselves a slightly... Oh, and look at all the range characters here. Okay, there's no way they cut all those range characters. Let's Fog them, baby. Then we have Ashwood Elm, which is really, really good if we can find Court Wizard. And Court Wizard is good with the pumpkin. So I think we do have to lock on to Ashwood Elm, as it is the best Court Wizard pairing. Maybe there is a universe where we activate Hercules this turn, get to toss the big book of spells or something for a really good tier 6 treasure, maybe like Wand or something like that. Okay, my opponent is huge and they have a Soul Tack, so this is a little bit scary. We have to dodge the Soul Tack. Even actually, no, there's no real great ways around this. We're going to have to scam them from the pumpkin. This is not good. This is a really insane board against us specifically. If we can tack into Soul Tack here, that's my best attack. And will allow me to potentially still get the tier 6 treasure, but I don't think the tier 6 treasure is what we can actually... Wow, even Soul Tack is going to slay against us. Yeah, doesn't seem great. Okay, we can't get Cupid here either. Yeah, we needed frontline trees, backline Medusa, or something like that. We're going to not even clear a single one of these characters from my opponent here. Maybe we clear the River Wish Mermaid? Yeah, we do. And maybe that could scam something, but not going to quite be able to cut it. It is still going to be the first win of the day bonus, though, as we land in potentially 3rd place. No, 4th place finish. Still a fun game. Let me know if you would have gone for World Tree. That was really tough and really tight. We were super, super low that game. Still thought that was a pretty fun one. And if we take a look, it basically, actually, we are with a 5th place and a 4th place finish today. We're up 10 rating points. Now, that doesn't quite cut it in terms of allowing me to do this every day and climb. That would take me then, what, 500 days, right? No. 50 days. 50 days. Sorry. 50 days to get 500 more rating points. That would be a little bit longer than the season allows for, but you're going to get some wins in there too, hopefully. And hopefully this was an okay demonstration of just showing some medium-placed games, though hopefully tomorrow I can come back with some real bangers. But for today, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.